shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
We have a frost advisory in effect. Temperatures dipping down into the 30s this morning. I'll show you when it starts to warm up.
Education priorities. Today, Governor Stein and the state superintendent meet with school leaders from across the state. What they're focusing on as federal funding is at risk.
It's a sweet showdown tonight. Duke plays Arizona with a spot in the NCAA tournament's Elite Eight on the line. Why the opponents will be such a familiar face for the Blue Devils. See somebody we know there. Used to be around the Triangle area. It'll be good if we can stay up late tonight. Get a nap, and 9:39, I think, the tip-off. Plenty to talk about. I'm Jeff Hogan. Good to have you with us.
And I'm Renee Chu. But if you need to wake up, just step outside, and that cold blast, that'll do it for you. That's as good as caffeine. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Going to need the puffy coat this morning.
Definitely. That frost advisory, almost the entire viewing area, expanded since this time yesterday. So it does cover most of us. At this point, hopefully you've already covered whatever it is that needed covering out there. 39 is the temperature in the Triangle. Our wind is calm, and when we do have calm wind, it does allow the temperatures to fall a little faster than when we have clouds or we have windy conditions. It is already 32 in South Hill, 34 in Roxborough, 36 in Rocky Mount. And even though that frost advisory does spread all the way down here through the middle of the viewing area, obviously it's much more likely that we'll see frost closer to the Virginia line. These temperatures are a lot colder than yesterday in most places, anywhere from 5 to 15 degrees colder. So do be prepared for that, even if you're not too concerned about the frost. Like Renee said, puffy coat weather out there for it today. This afternoon will feel like yesterday, a little breezy, a little on the cool side. But later today, our winds shift to southerly. I'll show you how much that will warm us up over the next couple of days.
And Elizabeth just warned us it's going to be cold when you step out that door. You will need to be prepared. And WRAL's Eric Miller is live outside the Waffle House in Hillsboro right now. Eric, how's it feeling out there this morning?
Yeah, Jeff, definitely a little bit chilly to start off our day. You're going to want to think about that jacket, that scarf, maybe even a hat or gloves if you got a little bit of a colder complexion. And then maybe, I don't know, pop in, grab some coffee, grab something warm to eat in a place like Waffle House. You can certainly see a couple of folks trying to do exactly that here this morning. Temperature reading on our vehicle right now here at the Hillsboro at the Waffle House on Hillsboro Street, showing things a little bit warmer here, about 44 degrees. But definitely seeing colder patches as we've been out and about on the roads this morning. Those temperatures definitely varying, staying right in the vicinity of 40, some patches of 30s. So we'll be keeping a close eye on it over the course of this morning. We'll let you know what we're seeing out here. In Raleigh, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
Breaking news, Duke Energy crews are working to restore power after a crash on Ligon Mill Road in Wake County. The crash happened around 12:15 this morning, just north of US 401. Duke Energy's outage map shows about 37 customers lost power. We're working to learn whether anyone was hurt in the crash. Today, school administrators from across the state are in Raleigh. They'll be talking about their priorities for your child's education in the face of possible federal funding cuts. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live at Raleigh Convention Center this morning. And Kelsey, Governor Josh Stein and State Superintendent Mo Green will also be part of this.
Yes, Renee, hundreds of school administrators from across the state will be headed here to the Raleigh Convention Center in the next few hours. And today, the governor and the state superintendent will speak to this group. They plan to discuss their initiatives for public education. This is all a part of the North Carolina Association of School Administrators Conference. This conference comes as the future of the Department of Education is still in question. We spoke with the executive director of the association, Catherine Joyce. She says this week, school leaders are brainstorming about how to handle possible federal funding cuts.
If we do see cuts that come from the federal level, there's going to have to be some stopgap measures. So we will be having those conversations as this legislative session unfolds.
And school leaders from this conference did meet with state lawmakers yesterday. Joy says that schools are going to need county level support and state support if federal dollars are cut. And she also says that the state superintendent plans to update local leaders about federal funding this week. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
WRAL will be there as Stein and Green discuss the priorities for your child's education. Watch WRAL News from 4 to 7:30 this evening.
Tonight, State Superintendent of Schools will also make the trip down to Cumberland County to hear from you. Mo Green is hosting sessions across the state as part of his Mo Wants to Know tour. The event invites all parents, students, and educators to make their voices heard on school issues. It gets started at 6 o'clock tonight, Westover High School, and Green will host another event at Durham's Northern High School, April 7th.
In her first State of the City address, Raleigh Mayor Janet Cowell highlighted reducing violent crime and making housing more affordable as her top goals. Cowell said the city is short by more than 37,000 housing units. Rent has gone up more than 50%, and the income needed to afford a house has doubled. She celebrated City Council's recent approval of 13 housing projects and said they plan to keep that up. Cowell also said crime is trending downward.
We do all of that with fewer police and fire and emergency call center than the typical city when you look at the number per population.
Cowell says she wants to boost police pay and increase the number of officers on the force to help keep the city safe.
Durham Public Schools Board will talk tonight about Superintendent Anthony Lewis's plan to balance the budget. The district is facing almost $7 million budget deficit. That is much less than the original estimate, though, of $34 million. Durham Public Schools saved millions by cutting 15% of each department's budget at the start of the year. School leaders say the deficit comes from unbudgeted staff positions, charter school funding, child nutrition costs, and master's pay for teachers, among other things. Tonight's meeting gets started at 6:30.
Family and friends of a 7-year-old boy who drowned in the Tar River are honoring his life. Dozens gathered for a vigil last night near the spot where Ronald Brody Jr. fell into the river last week in Franklin County. His body was found on Tuesday. Loved ones released balloons in his memory. Family and friends say he was a sweet and caring boy. They say they will continue to need support as they process their grief.
Today, Governor Josh Stein will be in Western North Carolina to meet with officials about the response to wildfires there. Firefighters are making some progress. In Polk County, crews say they have been able to improve the containment of the Black Cove and Deep Woods fires. Fires in Western North Carolina have destroyed at least 11 homes and burned more than 6,000 acres. More people are being asked to evacuate their homes. A firefighter was hurt during the containment effort. New wildfires have also popped up in Haywood, Buncombe, and Rutherford counties. After he visits Polk County, Governor Stein will commemorate the 6-month anniversary of Hurricane Helene. He'll visit the Fairview Volunteer Fire Department in Buncombe County. He plans to honor the 106 people who died there in that flooding as Helene devastated the region in September.
Tonight, Duke is taking the court in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament. They'll play 4-seed Arizona tonight in Newark, New Jersey. WRAL's Chris Lee is there as the Blue Devils prepare to meet some familiar faces.
Duke back in the Sweet 16 for the second straight year. They've had some very interesting matchups along the way, including eliminating Baylor, featuring a former Blue Devil in Jeremy Roach. Now Duke is getting ready for what seems like a conference game against Arizona. The Blue Devils lost at home against the Wildcats last season. This year, Duke returned the favor and beat them on the road in Tucson, but that was 4 months ago. Duke is a different team and much better. They say the Wildcats are different as well, but there's a familiar face on the Wildcats that will be battling Duke for the final time. Former UNC player Caleb Love, but Duke won't play up that angle.
We just trying to win the ball game at the end of the day. It's not about one person. It's about us pretty much. We put so much work into the game this year, this summer. So, it's not about one person. It's about what we want to do collectively as a team.
Of course, Love famously hit the shot that sent Duke home in the Final Four 3 years ago. Now he can do the same. Or, just like Jeremy Roach, Duke can end his career with a win. There's another local tie for the Wildcats. Former Campbell sharpshooter Anthony Del Orso transferred from Bowie's Creek last year to Tucson this season. He could be a factor for the Wildcats in this game. So get your rest because this one tips off very late tonight, 9:39 Duke versus Arizona. The winner makes it to the Elite Eight. In Newark, New Jersey, I'm Chris Lee, WRAL Sports.
All three of our Triangle women's teams will play in the Sweet 16 tomorrow. Duke and UNC will be playing each other in Birmingham, Alabama. That game is at 2:30. And NC State will be in Spokane, Washington to play LSU. Tip-off for that one is at 7:30.
Wake County residents can learn how their tax dollars are being used tonight. One of several learning sessions will be held at Eva Perry Regional Library. Leaders will share details of Wake County's $2 billion budget and how those dollars are put to work. It starts at 6:30 this evening. 4:40 is the time on your Thursday morning. Women's Sports Challenge.
I am very much standing for something, and what I'm standing for is women.
An anti-trans athlete activist speaks at Duke University. Her message and the pushback she received from some on campus.
Outbreak spreading, where new cases of measles are confirmed, linked to the cluster that has hospitalized dozens.
And don't forget a coat when you step out this morning. This is a live look right now. North Hills, all bright to get our day started. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will be back after the break.
Taking a look at Lewisburg this morning. Look at beautiful daffodils. We got trees in bloom here on the courthouse. I won't say lawn, but out there in front of the courthouse, of course. Looking beautiful. We do have clear skies this morning, so we do have the top of the tower lit in blue for the clear skies. But of course, it's cold out there. We have a frost advisory that's in effect for most of the viewing area. It doesn't include Fayetteville, but everybody else pretty much on this map included. 35 in Holly Springs, just 39 in Durham, but 32 in Roxborough, 37 in Cary, and Garner, 36 in Rocky Mount. So it's going to be patchy. It's not going to be a widespread freeze, hard freeze, that sort of thing. Just some patchy frost. And again, you can see it does cover most of the viewing area. Our temperatures for kids headed out to school, though, will be in the 30s, so chilly, and then a cool afternoon with mid-60s.
Former college swimmer turned activist Riley Gaines is showing her support for a bill limiting the rights of transgender people in North Carolina. Gaines stopped by Duke University to speak to a room full of athletes and community supporters. Her visit was not welcomed by all. Protesters on campus didn't want to speak on camera. They used posters to advocate for trans athletes. Gaines rose to prominence in 2022 after she swam against a transgender woman in the NCAA championships. That athlete, Leah Thomas, won a medal. Gaines spoke exclusively with WRAL about why she chose to speak at Duke.
It's just been a mission of mine the past probably 2 years or so to get on college campuses and do what I can to really help engage and mobilize the youth. I think we're a demographic that's often left out of these important conversations. I'm not standing against anyone or anything. I am very much standing for something, and what I'm standing for is women. So I welcome all.
You can see more of our exclusive interview with Riley Gaines on WRAL.com and WRAL's YouTube page.
The multi-state measles outbreak is spreading. Health officials in Kansas say they have 23 cases in their state. 20 of them are in people who are unvaccinated. The outbreak has infected nearly 400 people in Texas, New Mexico, and Oklahoma. Dozens of people have been hospitalized, and at least one person, a child, has died. 6 months after Hurricane Helene, some people have been living without power or water for months, dealing with dead ends and red tape in western North Carolina. Tonight, hear what is taking so long for people to get the help they need. WRAL investigates tonight at 6.
Another nonstop flight will soon be available to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic from RDU. This is a live look right now at their Terminal 2. American Airlines is adding the new route, and it'll be a Saturday-only service. Flights start December 6th. Tickets are now on sale. And last month, Avelo also started service from RDU to Punta Cana.
Sounds like paradise. It is 4:47. A cold start to our Thursday morning. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, you warned us about this all week, though.
Yeah, we have been noticing this on the models. Like, looks like it's going to be pretty chilly for us on Thursday morning. Temperatures in the 30s almost everywhere. Some 40s down around Fayetteville and Clinton. And of course, those are just the 3 counties down there, Hope County, Cumberland, and Sampson County, that aren't included in the frost advisory. We're more likely to see frost, of course, the farther north that you go, but it's possible everywhere. This is a look at the map, the model, where you'll have the potential for some frost. We're not talking about a hard freeze, a deep freeze, just a little bit of patchy frost you'll see on your windshield, and there could be some patchy frost in some places. Our average last freeze or hard freeze happens April 8th, and so that's going to be toward the end of, about a week and a half from now. The earliest, March 7th, 2010, the latest, May 8th, 1989. So getting into that time, if you were really hoping to plant, the weekend, Saturday in particular, you're really going to be tempted to get out to, work in the yard, that sort of thing, I would maybe give it 2 more weeks before you really planted anything that was going to be potentially affected by cold temperatures. Here's a live look at Zebulon this morning. It is 39 in Zebulon. Temperatures may drop a little bit more into the mid-30s over the next couple of hours. Right now it's 32 in Roxborough and 30 in South Hill, 36 in Rocky Mount, 35 in Goldsboro, and 36 degrees in Southern Pines. So definitely seeing some cooler temperatures. Closer to the Triangle, it's 34 in Chapel Hill, 34 in Wake Forest, 37 in Garner, 37 degrees in Cary right now. Around town, feeling much like yesterday. Temperatures will be in the mid to upper 60s with lots of sunshine, a little bit breezy. We're below normal for our high temperature today, just barely. You see the blue shaded areas. By Friday, we start a warm up and then a huge warm up into the weekend. 66 is our normal high temperature. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, even Monday, all look nice and mild, but we do have the potential for high wind danger, fire danger again today. The winds will start to pick up this afternoon, and just like the last weeks almost, we do have high fire danger again today. We also are looking at the potential for some severe storms on Monday. We'll walk you through that potential coming up.
Thanks, Elizabeth. A touching parade here, how an Edgecombe County community came together to brighten the day of a child fighting terminal cancer.
In the next half hour, health care reform, the bill that's moving through the state legislature today that would bring big changes to how hospitals operate statewide.
.452 is the time right now as you take this live look downtown Raleigh, Natural Sciences Museum. And a good morning to all the folks out there waking up to some pretty cold temperatures. Be aware, be ready for that. A community is coming together to support this 4-year-old boy who is battling terminal cancer. Timothy Stamatis loves fire trucks, and local crews gave him a parade in his honor to brighten his spirits. WRAL's Ashley Rowe has the story of this touching event in Edgecombe County.
Duty calls in Pine Tops. Not for an emergency, but for a 4-year-old boy who, in his young life, has made a big impact.
I put together this parade because he likes playing with fire trucks, police cars, playing cops and robbers.
Timothy Stamatis was diagnosed a year ago with a type of kidney cancer, stage 4. His family says after a year of surgery, chemo, and radiation, doctors have given him possibly weeks to live.
It's just heartbreaking to know that he won't be in our life anymore. But God is still in control here. I'm not giving up till his last breath.
This parade, involving drivers from at least 8 surrounding counties, was organized to lift his spirits and show Timothy the love that he has brought so many.
And that 4-year-old grandson of mine is my hero. He has shown me things that grown people could never show me. And I love him, and he's the diamond of my eye.
It was wonderful. We greatly appreciate everyone coming out for their support, their love, their prayers.
A show of force for this 4-year-old force for good.
It's awfully hard, and I just thank God for the time that we've had with him so far.
Ashley Rowe reporting there. Timothy's grandfather says after the parade, deputies from the sheriff's office came by the house to see Timothy. And some drivers from a freight trucking company also came by so he could see their big trucks.
A beautiful procession of love. 27 more Starlink satellites are in space this morning.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition.
A SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket blasted off from California last night with the satellites in tow. Starlink now has more than 7,100 satellites in low Earth orbit. They provide high-speed internet to people around the world.
Fayetteville Police Department is accepting applications for its 2025 Citizens Police Academy. The program gives you a behind-the-scenes look at the department. It offers hands-on experiences with various units. The academy is limited to 20 people. It'll meet every Tuesday from 6 to 8 p.m. starting April 8th.
The final Dreamville Festival is starting to take shape. Sky 5 flew over Dix Park, where you can see trucks and construction equipment there on site. Crews appear to be working on a stage along with other preps. The music festival is Saturday, April 5th and Sunday, April 6th. Lil Wayne and J. Cole are the headliners. VIP tickets are still available.
Today's Major League Baseball's opening day, and fans of one team are hoping they have broken a curse after 3 losing seasons. A baseball from the 1919 World Series was found inside Chicago's Tribune Tower during renovations in 2022. That World Series is known for Chicago White Sox players taking money to throw games. The ball was moved to the Chicago Sports Museum after it was found, and the White Sox have been losing ever since. Well, now the ball has been returned to the Tribune Tower in hopes of breaking that curse.
Wildfire fight. The increasing challenges crews in North and South Carolina are facing as they try to control spreading flames.
Education priorities. Today, Governor Stein and the state superintendent meet with school leaders from across the state. What they're focusing on as federal funding is at risk.
Our temperatures are in the 30s this morning as you look live at Lake Gaston. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with details of a frost advisory and the warm-up that's coming for the weekend.